Mr. West.
Scott.
It is a pleasure to talk to you. Well, so it seems like the idea of bringing you back as Batman in an animated film is such a no-brainer. Like, why didn't it happen sooner?
I have no idea, Scott. It seems to me that, in life, timing is really everything, isn't it? And I think the time was just perfect. It's the 50th anniversary of Batman, that is ours. And I think a good time because of many things that are going on out there in the world now. And I think it's something that it's not addictive, Batman, entirely, but they just wanted a funnier Batman. Yeah. Someone, maybe a happier Batman, and that was important to them. But they realized that, that we did this on several levels. And they wrote it that way for me. And then they updated it as well. So it's a mix of, what's happening in the world now and high tech and all that. And our older Batman, it was a real homage.
What was it like to go back and actually play the character again after all these years?
It was easy. Because, when you do something for 3 years, day in and day out, and you nail the character, it comes back pretty quickly with the sense memory or whatever, exercise you might use as an actor. It wasn't difficult. You just mentally pull on that cowl and cape and you're off and running.
And it almost seems like it's in a way a lot easier, just because you don't have to actually put the cape on anymore and go deal with all that stuff.
Let me tell you, you're so right on because doing voiceovers, and I do quite a bit of that. It's much easier in a sense if you know what the hell you're doing, and if you don't, maybe it's difficult. But no costuming, no makeup, no strange egos to deal with. It's good.
Now, have you seen the Ben Affleck version of Batman? You mentioned the darker versions that are out there. Have you seen that, and what do you think of it if you have?
What's an Affleck? That's a line I had in a recent show. No, I haven't seen it, but he's remarkably good, I think, and to have the chance to do a Batman that might be different, and certainly the movie will be more violent than ours was, and darker, and he'll probably be filled with angst and different things, and that's a real challenge too. But, I didn't have to do that. I'd done that in so many roles before that it was a wonderful challenge and a good time for me to do a funny Batman.
And of course, we were talking about this in the office recently, because I think that if we hadn't had your Batman, we would have never have then led to the sort of cycle of then going back to the dark Batman as well.
Yeah, I thought about that, Scott, and I wonder if it would have been kind of rediscovered on its own. But to have been the classic Batman and to have them, that franchise, the Batman character can express itself in so many different universes and ways. And, I'd love to play one or two different kinds of Batman, or just to be Batman's father.
Well, did you get to do your voice work with Julie Newmar and with Burt Ward, or did you guys record separately? How did that work?
We recorded separately. In many cases, you do that. If you've kind of nailed a character and it's familiar. But, if it's a new project like a film, and you're doing a voice, it's kind of nice to go in and work with the other actors at least once or twice and you get the sense of it, and if they're selfish, if they're giving, and how it's coming alive. But in this case, it's easy and it's convenient, it's quick if you know what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, just to go in and do it solo.
Right, yeah. sometimes Batman rolls solo, right? He doesn't always have his sidekicks with him. So I, I have to ask you. This is getting a little nerdy now, but there's another. You're often recognized for your work on Batman, obviously. But I wanted to ask you, how often do people come out to talk to you about Robinson Crusoe on Mars, the film you made around the time of Batman, I guess?
Yeah, that film won some awards, because it was advanced as far as science fiction and technically. Yeah, people do mention that, and they talk about some of the other films I've done. I mean, even some of the real turkeys. But I think an obligation for an actor is to stay alive, take care of your family, and keep working. So I've done a lot of junk. But a few fairly good films, and that, I think, was one of them. It was interesting because it was populous, and yet a little bit advanced for its time.
Yeah. In terms of the animated adventures, could this become a recurring series? Could we get one of these every 18 months or something like that?
Oh, I've got a gag order. But I think you're onto something. Yeah. It's a possibility. Come see the movie in the panel tonight. Maybe you'll know more.
Right. And do you have a favorite sort of villain from the series that you used to encounter, or?
Well, I love to work with Frank Gorshin as Riddler. He was immensely energetic and knew what he was doing, and we had a wonderful kind of byplay. And Burgess Meredith as Pingy Baby with the cigarette in my face. That was very interesting. And I enjoyed Cesar Romero. Again, he had all the vitality that it was just crazy. The man was so good at his age.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. West. It's a pleasure and an honor to talk to you.
Thank you, Scott. It's fun to be here.
Thanks so much.
You bet.